Should we do a formal introduction to this?
Yeah, sure.
Right, okay. So, it's almost harder to do a formal introduction to this.
Yeah. No pressure, just the machine constantly ticking
Well,
away.
my name is Sam, or Samuel Jolly. What is this?
You're giving your full name away.
Yeah.
Oh, you're putting yourself out there.
And your name is the artist who's formerly known as Acrophone, right?
Yeah, that's me.
And any links to social media? Well, I can't remember what Twitter is.
You don't know your own Twitter.
Why not? Might have questions.
Yeah.
As in, why is this so low quality?
That's a good question.
It's a good question,
Yeah.
and that's just because we don't have money. Money's a problem.
I've got a job, but I'm spending it on other things.
Do you want to enlighten us as to what this highly paying job is?
I work on a Tesco checkout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like you don't use the actual checkout though, do you? You use the self-service one.
That's
So-
not true.
You're technically destroying your own jobs. You're destroying your. It's probably the shop's fault for putting it in,
But people still have to work on that.
because you want to buy alcohol.
What?
Yeah, if you want to buy alcohol, right, you have to. Anything that has an age rating on it, you have to get someone to come and say yeah.
Yeah, for me, if I'm selling it whilst on the checkout, but if you go to self-serve, everyone who does self-serve has to be over 18 anyway. So I only can do checkouts legally.
But yeah, so I am.
Great name, that. Yeah.
I'm Samuel Jolly. My Twitter is at Sam_E_Jolly. Underscore Sam_E_Jolly.
That's, cool.
Cool.
I'll follow you later. No, I'm only following you.
Yeah,
Actually,
you
don't. And I'm not following him, so don't look who's following us.
You know what? You don't want to be followed.
I guess so. I don't know, we'll see.
Okay,
I remember when I first got a microphone on my PlayStation and Little Big Planet, and the very first thing I said to someone is, "My dad has a beard." And my
the first thing you said.
Yeah. And my dad turned to me and was like, "People don't want to hear that." And I had nothing else to say, but no one ever responded because the other people didn't have a microphone, so I was just talking to them. It was fun. I was like, "My dad has a beard," because he did. He'd just grown one.
So is that that's like your experience of a podcast? Is talking through Little Big Planet about how your dad has a beard?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, just random people I didn't even know.
Is that how this podcast is going to go then? It's just you talking about
My dad.
things.
No, beards. No. Yeah.
Is it a good job that no one can reply then?
Yeah, I don't. What would you say to that? Someone randomly comes into your Little Big Planet game, and then they say, "My dad has a beard." You'd be like, "Cool," because these people could be like 30. I don't know, because it could be anyone, couldn't it? Because it's the internet. But yeah.
I mean, usually either I don't, mine doesn't, or mine does. I don't. It's like, how are you? I'm right. Or how about you?
Yeah.
Alright.
But then people can say "all right" as sort of a hello, and that confuses me.
Just that.
It's really confusing because sometimes it's like "all right," and I'm like, do I say "yeah, thanks" or "are you all right"? Or is it like "oh, hello"?
Or
did you
just nod heads.
Yeah, that's what
Right.
that's what a lot of people. It's like the stages of when you get to know somebody where you just kind of like, you can't.
Right.
You nod your head at them.
Yeah, you can't just say. Yeah, you have to almost include stage directions as a podcast now. You
Yeah.
can't nod your head because no one's going to hear that.
It's like when you nod your head at a blind person, it's just not going to work.
Maybe we
It's
should
like
put-
Daredevil, when when he's like, "Did you just nod your head to a question?" And the woman's like, "Does it again?"
Yeah, where's the end? Maybe we should include stage direction. We could get one of those text-to-speech things which says Thomas nods head. Just for
like in police recordings, when someone like, "Do you watch Bodyguard?"
Yeah.
But when the Nadia was nodding her head, and she said, "Suspect nods head,"
Yeah.
because she kept answering in non-verbal communication.
Yeah, so we have to do that as a podcast then.
Remember, like, or just get do when you get audiences and they're like clap,
Yeah.
something like that.
Well, I mean, there'll be a YouTube video that goes along with it, so we can have like the screen directions.
Yeah, and then have the subtitles at the bottom, because some YouTube videos that the subtitles aren't related to what's being said. Sometimes it's not subtitles because it's not. Sometimes they're not automatically generated. They're put in by another user.
Yeah.
And so some of them, it's like when you go to like British English, it's not what was actually saying. It's sort of like a British take on what this Swedish YouTuber or American YouTuber is saying.
Yeah.
It's quite funny.
I mean, we don't actually have a name for the podcast.
We could go to the cliche, the Untitled Podcast, Game Ranks, the YouTube channel.
Is that already a thing? I feel like somebody's got the unnamed podcast.
Probably, but
wasn't that a show?
I don't know, but they've got the Game Ranks have got the Untitled Friday show, which I think is quite. I mean, it's good. I watch it, but it's kind of because they couldn't think of a name.
I think it's called As Yet Untitled by Alan Davis, where they spend an entire episode thinking of a title.
And then they talk. That's a bit like it's like a talk show, isn't it? John Richardson was on there saying how he isn't funny, which is in itself.
John Richardson saying how he wasn't funny, or
how he has nothing funny happen to him, but that in itself is funny.
And there are plenty of things that I'd say that were at least embarrassing.
Yeah, there's lots of stories you could tell, but there's also, I like to think about it, if you've got an embarrassing story that everyone else has forgotten about, it's safe in your own head as long as you don't tell anyone. So let's say you fell over one time, it's really embarrassing. You remember it forever, but you forget, everyone else forgets.
Yeah.
And you know it's safe within your own head as long as you tell no one. I have a lot of stories like that, which is like, I wish that didn't happen, because it's just like...
But if you were a comedian, it would be...
Oh yeah, well you'd use it as material.
Yeah.
But even if you're not a comedian.
But considering you want to be a politician, I don't know how many... I mean, to be honest, maybe being a self-aware politician would be a fresh take.
A different take, yeah.
A fresh take.
Yeah.
I mean, we can at least see all Theresa May's embarrassing moments because she puts them on TV. Or they're on TV. I mean, we can include... I mean...
I'm not going to comment on that.
Oh yeah, I forgot, yeah.
Can't comment on that, Sam.
Can you not?
Well, it depends.
I can always bleep out everything you say. I'm the only one talking, and just everything you say is bleeped out. Just the entire podcast.
Because that makes me sound really bad, doesn't it? If you have to bleep every word that comes out of my mouth.
Yeah, true.
But no, I think with Theresa May, some of the stuff, every politician has something embarrassing. Everyone has embarrassing things related to them.
Yeah.
It's just like with famous people, and it's focused upon, and they can't ever escape it.
Yeah.
Like when Gordon Brown said he saved the world. It's just a slip of the tongue, but no one ever forgot it.
Yeah.
When I'm confident with what I'm saying, it flows. When I don't think about it, like speech giving for me isn't an issue. I'll happily get in front of 100 people and speak. I've done it before.
Is there a limit for how many people you get in front of? I said, do you want to go in front of the O2, fully crowd of the O2, and just give a speech?
I think that'd be a bit too much for me at the moment, but if I built myself up to it, like I remember in year 7 I refused to read in class.
Yeah.
By the end of year 11 I was reading basically the entirety of Inspector Calls as the inspector. Because I got it one lesson and I kind of acted a bit, because everyone else would read like a line that said shocked, and they'd be like, and he was shocked, with like no expression in their voice, and I'd be like, oh, no way. And then, I'd get really into it because it would make it interesting. And when it says, like, the inspector says it's surprised and you give it in your monotone voice, it's kind of... It seems a bit ungenuine. So I always gave it my all, and then the teacher kept giving me the role again because,
Well, do you actually enjoy having the role?
Oh, it was fun, yeah. I liked it. But it was the confidence of being able to read in front of other people. Because what it was either I'd read something wrong... I had to read ahead to see what I had to read if I messed up a word. But by year 11, I'd gained so much confidence with maybe reading and speaking that it wasn't an issue.
Yeah.
First 2 weeks of college, I was speaking in front of 100 people. In lower 6.
I don't think I think I could, but I don't think I want to.
See, I don't mind it. I don't actively go out at my way. But I've done speeches and stuff like... Oh, I can't remember now. Cultural appropriation and stuff like that. Topics that at the time I didn't know much about, but I debated it anyway in front of like the entire debate club at college.
Yeah.
And it wasn't an issue. I put myself up for that. Well, I didn't. I put myself up for a debate and then got given the topic. I didn't choose the topic.
That's probably a precursor to this entire podcast, though. Like none of us know I don't know what I'm talking about half the time. I've read it somewhere on Wikipedia, so therefore
Therefore, it's true.
Therefore, it must be true. Obviously, read it in a book, so it must be true.
Well, a book's more reputable than a Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
That chair made a lot of noise.
I mean, you're literally like surrounded by all things that... This is where I get my knowledge from, it's just that shelf Maybe I include a picture, probably not. But there's like a
Too much work there.
yeah,
Putting a picture.
yeah, including a picture.
I can't even read that.
I've run out of shelves. I can't read from there.
You've run out of shelves.
Yeah, the one above is actually breaking.
Yeah, of course it is.
It's actually there's so much weight on it that actually it's like pull out from the wall.
Yeah, I've got a few books, but
I've got a few books. Can we quote you on that? Can we Thomas Allen, 2018.
you just forgot the year then. Yeah, I have a few books.
I didn't have to just check the year, Thomas. I definitely didn't have to check the year.
Goes on his phone. Can I
4th
just
of November.
put that on the record? You didn't know, it's bonfire night tomorrow, Sam. Come on.
I actually quite like Bonfire Night.
I like the fact it's British.
It's a very British thing.
But it has to be, because
Well-
no other country celebrates it.
Does
Unless you get some like,
does Scotland celebrate it?
wow, we'll get into the thing of what's a country. I think they do, but don't quote me on that because
'Cause it's-
I'm not sure.
Well, it was James the First, wasn't it? He's Scottish king.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
If I was Scottish, I would, because it was an assassination attempt on the English and Scottish king, because he was King James the First of England.
Yeah, but I don't think people do it for being a royalist. I think people do it because they're like fireworks.
Yeah. But I mean, as in at the time, it might have become popular in Scotland, and then people carried it on as it became actually relevant, less relevant. It was like, oh, let's just.
It's like the traditions of Halloween, I believe, come from America, like the trick or treats and pumpkin carving and all that. That's fun, but bonfire night comes from the UK because it happened to a British king.
Yeah.
What you googling?
I'm googling King James the Sixth of Scotland and First of England.
Why don't you Google Guy Fawkes? I'll tell you.
Well, I just wanted to know if he was king of both.
It would have been because it's times what year it was. Because the kings merged before 1707, I believe.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If you're not interested in history, this podcast is not going to be. It's definitely not history, politics. I mean, it's not only history, politics, but it'll be other things.
We won't dwell on politics too much. Probably not the best.
Considering you want a career in politics,
Yeah.
it's best to just
Google me.
Does Scotland follow? Let's follow.
Celebrate?
Celebrate.
Is it celebrate? Well, it has to be gunpowder. The gunpowder plot. I remember in year 5, I remember realising that it didn't work. I was like, oh, he actually didn't succeed. I kind of assumed he did, and they rebuilt. And then you learn about hung, drawn, and quartered, and it's like, he definitely didn't succeed. Come on, Sam. Remember the phone?
Well, you have a phone as well, but I love the term potpourri. I love it. Just reminds me of potpourri, the stuff you find outside the baths.
What?
You know, like this little like crisps or dried leaves and fruits.
Crisps.
Potpourri. Have you never found someone? Oh look, crisps. And never attempted to leave parents.
Crisps in the bathroom.
Potpourri. And I know it's not. It's no, that's not crisps.
What flavour they are?
Probably like cinnamon and citrus.
Cinnamon flavoured crisps. Like cinnamon challenge. Don't ever do that.
Settlers exported Guy Fawkes Night to overseas colonies, including some in North America, where it was known as Pope Day. How it's known as Pope Day in some places in North America.
Oh, that's interesting.
Why? In other countries.
Remember they do celebrate it.
Commonwealth nations such as Australia and New Zealand.
They celebrate bonfire night.
I think so.
Interesting.
Perth listed Gunpowder Treason Day as a public holiday. So Australia's it's called Treason Day, Gunpowder Treason Day, I think.
That makes sense.
I can't find anything in Scotland. I think it does. I would if I was a Scottish man around the time of it, I would celebrate it because he's your king as well.
I wonder how many years it took after for bonfire night to be celebrated.
It might have been the same day, like the actual day. People celebrate it on the day.
Well, who thought this is the event we're going to do every year?
I don't think I'd dredge it up 10 years after. I don't think Charles I went, yeah, you know what, bonfire night. That's for me, I think it would have been something that happened every year afterwards.
So it's a gradual, but then when did fireworks become related to them? Because surely gunpowder was expensive.
I think it...
And not for, like, any old person to get hold of.
It's a good point. This is probably something we have to add in, because I'm not Googling this. I've got the entire thing. We're going to come up with so many hypothetical things. Price of gunpowder in 1700s? Maybe I Google that.
Quality, interesting stuff being talked about here. The price of gunpowder in the 1700s. That wasn't on our to-do list.
Yeah, that definitely isn't on the list then.
I'm going to add that in.
Actually, it would be 1600s, wouldn't it? Not
That's for part 2 when we do
1600s.
the 1800s.
Yeah.
A history of gunpowder. That's what we should call this podcast.
Well, I've opened up the Wikipedia called History of Gunpowder.
Oh no!
So 1004 apparently.
Oh,
Earliest known written formula of gunpowder. 1004 in China.
the Chinese got it first, didn't they?
Yeah. Discovery of gunpowder is attributed to experimentation in Chinese alchemy.
My favourite kind of alchemy.
There's loads of stuff about English alchemy and like French alchemy. Like there's an alchemist called Nicholas Flamel. He's from Harry Potter as well. That's where
He's
based
from
on.
Harry Potter.
He's based. Nicholas Flamel in Harry Potter was based on. He's not from Harry Potter. He's Harry Potter.
You just said he was from. Let's quote that.
Quote that. There was a supposed alchemist.
Supposed.
Who J.K. Rowling. Well, because alchemy's not very at one point.
No, yeah. Supposed witch.
A self-named alchemist who's meant to have found something to do with the Philosopher's Stone, which meant to give him immortal life.
It was like in Canada, someone recently got charged for pretending to be a witch because they said to a man that they could. Oh, I can't remember now. I've got to get this right. But, I know. But basically, so a woman was charged with it because she told this guy that she could do some magic that would make him better.
If it was fraud.
If money, yeah.
Oh, okay. I wasn't.
But the crime was pretending to be a witch. But not actually. Because actually being a witch in Canada is legal, but pretending to be a witch is illegal.
It's fraud.
Yeah, it's like challenging someone to a duel is illegal in Canada. Why? Because it's not allowed.
What, even if it's just like a.
If I,
fencing?
throw your glove down,
yeah.
and like that can I duel you to the death.
Yeah, okay.
But
that's
then,
murder, isn't it?
But then that's already illegal. But the act of challenging someone is a crime within itself, even if it doesn't go ahead.
I guess it's like threatening someone, though.
Yeah, but it's an outdated law. Like Canada bans crime comics, so any comics that portray crime is illegal in Canada.
It bans that now.
Yeah.
So you can't have superhero stuff.
But you do. Like they're not. It's like laws in England.
Is it like that law about if you stand on the walls of York
and shoot
and have a long
Scotsman
gun, you can kill.
Yeah.
As long as you're wearing a. How do you know he's a Scotsman?
Wearing a kilt.
Ginger hair.
That kind of stereotype. I assume that's what they assume that they thought it would be. But even if you went there now and did it, you'd get arrested, obviously.
Yeah.
Be a weird scenario where it'd be a longbow.
What about walls round York?
Yeah, around the city of York, there's walls.
They're still up.
Yeah, they're still up. They get
go.
they're good. There's only so many times you can walk around them for them still to be interesting. I've done it quite a few. But there's a cool milkshake place called Milk Shack. If you're ever in York, you should go to.
Very good. We'll put that in the. I'll put a picture of it.
Yeah.
I'll put a link to that.
Plugging Milk Shack.
Yeah, sponsor us.
Yeah. Please sponsor us, Milk
We're
Shack.
definitely official.
Yeah, not like this is the very first recording.
Yeah. Okay, so
we're established.
We don't actually have a name. We didn't come up with one. Maybe the Gunpowder Plot.
The Gunpowder Plot.
The Gunpowder Podcast.
Yeah, sure.
In memory of when it started, the day before.
The day before, yeah.
Is there a day before?
It's like National Hot Dog Day or something. There's lots of them, like National Food Holidays, which I think are a bit stupid. Like National Apricot Day.
National Grid Share Prices. When I put in the word national, it comes up with National Grid Share Prices. With a load of things I don't understand. Lots of percentages and minus.
Get rid of statistics. What national day is it today? Do you know what I said? You know we said it wouldn't be dark within a few hours. It's the same hour, and it's pitch black.
It's not dark.
You roped me into doing
It's not dark in here.
Yeah, it's because we have some good lights.
Yeah. The national. What is National Day? Oh, that's not quite.
Wow.
Today, National Day.
Professionalism.
November the 4th.
Yeah.
National Chicken Lady Day. National Candy Day. Daylight Savings Time ends.
That's boring. What country is that in? Because it's already ended here, isn't it?
This country, probably, yes.
No, it won't be this country because they went back, didn't they? Not longer.
National Chicken Lady Day. I don't think that's a real thing.
It has to be a real thing. It's on a website.
National.
There's a link to it which you can read about.
No, not one I want to click
Google
on.
National Chicken Lady Day.
I don't want to click on some of these links. National Chicken Lady Day. That's the picture that comes up.
Let me read.
Just some woman. November the 4th. National Chicken Lady Day.
Honours Tina Dupree for 12 years. Tina worked for the second largest chicken restaurant in the world as the director of community relations and training. She was widely known due to her work in the community. Yeah, cool. Something tells me this isn't as official as Bonfire Night.
Alright, okay, well, I think we should name... This is the
What?
National Chicken Lady Day special.
Special.
This is the National Chicken Lady
Honour.
Day special. First ever podcast, National Chicken Lady Day special. Remember the
Pre-bonfire.
4th.
Always remember the 4th of November. That's National Chicken Lady Day. Ember.
I should come up with a rhyme for that. A proper rhyme.
A proper rhyme, yeah.
Rhyme.
Yeah, that's the intro.
That's the title for this one. National Chicken Lady Day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not that people are going to click on this thing and we're talking about the National Chicken Lady.
We are? We're talking about it.
Yeah.
Sponsor us if you're the National Chicken Lady.
I think she's dead.
Her estate can sponsor us. And we'll continue to talk
Her
about
will
it.
can sponsor us.
Every 4th of November we'll mention it.
Yeah.
A sentence.
Yeah. And we'll put a tweet out for you.
Rest in peace. Is she actually dead?
I think so. Widely known due to her work. She was widely known.
Maybe people
Past
just
tense.
forgotten about it.
No, it's got off National Day. No one's forgotten about her.
We didn't know it existed.
Well, we googled it. National. Hang on. My phone's slow. So is mine.
It's fine. Like owner.
National Dog Day, mate.
National
No,
Dog Day.
I spelled day wrong and put dog instead.
National Day. National Dog. Is there a national dog? Is it Pip? Probably.
No, I don't know.
We need to come up with a name for this podcast. We've got the title for this one.
National Post Day is October 10th.
October 10th.
I'm kind of liking this now, just looking through this.
Can I have a look at that?
No.
No. There's nothing to look at.
No, I'm loading.
That's the website I was on.
Important dates in the Indian calendar.
We're not on the Indian calendar. Okay,
So
so
we need to transfer, because that's what Probably T-Series is on.
we need to come up with a name for the podcast, I think. If we're doing nothing else, a name.
I think on this on, like... I'm literally on the thing about India.
India.
Mm.
You've gone down a rabbit hole.
I have run...
Have you not got a phone?
I have got
Taking
I
mine.
don't, it's charging.
It's not charged yet.
International Yoga Day.
International
The
Yoga
Indian
Day.
Prime Minister addressed the UN General Assembly and called for adoption of the 21st of June as International Yoga Day.
We don't know how this podcast is going to be specialised now. Every one of these random days, that's what our special's going to be. Not Christmas.
No.
National Chicken Lady Day.
The UN adopted a day because the Indian Prime Minister spoke at the General Assembly asking for a day dedicated to yoga, as it's 5,000 year as it's a 5,000-year-old practice.
Is it?
Yes.
It was done 3,000 BC. Or BCE if you want to be. But, yeah.
I don't know.
I don't understand the BCE thing.
What does BCE stand for?
Well, it's before Common Era. And it starts exactly when Jesus is meant to have been born.
Oh, so it's not before
So
Christ.
it's Common Era, so CE, and then BCE instead of AD and BC. But I don't get it because it's meant to not. It's like you might get offended if you're like atheist or something. But I don't know if you're offended or not by
Right.
Domini or BC. But it's still around the same date. So the Common Era starts with Jesus' birth.
Well, actually, if we look at human history, we've been around for much longer than 2,000 years, so we should really be in the year like 12,000.
What, since civilization? Where you count that from? From human existence or recorded history?
Recorded history, like when we can first see.
Well, doesn't that mean our date will change?
Yeah, why not? I don't see why every country on Earth has the same date, same year. Why we all agree on a year? Because I think that's
It makes it a bit easier.
Well, North Korea is in like the 60th year because they only start counting years when.
It makes it a bit easier
after World War II.
Because it means you don't have to go, well, that's 1942 for France, so that's 2009 for us, and 3006 for Germany.
But then, like,
and
the US would only be in its 300s.
But I mean, like, when was England formed?
I don't know. But
Tom, why don't you know when England was formed?
I think I haven't revised that this morning yet. You know, I did Wales.
Apparently,
today.
That's the response from Google.
1863.
England first Google information says England formation 1863. I'm clicking on that.
Yeah. Forget anything else. England did not exist.
No, it's football formations. But hang on, football formations in 1863. What?
It's more.
Maybe that's a number. Maybe that's a number thing.
It's more believable than that's when the country was formed. 1066, maybe.
No, because it was invaded by. England was invaded by William Conqueror. Edward the Confessor was King of England.
You know much more about this than me, Sam.
So Kingdom of England.
We've not got
the date I've got is 927.
Okay. Sure. Cool.
Capital used to be Winchester, then London. Winchester used to be the capital until 1066, when William Conqueror made London the capital.
Oh.
Still always down south there.
Yeah.
Interestingly.
That's where they probably invade from, don't they?
Well, no, as in
you wouldn't go all
Winchester.
the way up to like Leeds.
Well, Winchester, that was the capital before. That's still down south.
Yeah, I guess.
But that was Wessex. So Wessex used to be.
Maybe you want to be closer to France and Europe for trade and stuff.
I mean, it was just because the Kingdom of Wessex was the one that united us all, and Wessex is like the bottom bit.
Yeah, I know.
I clicked on something. Hang on.
Now who's going down a rabbit hole?
Government, heptarchy, 7th, elected monarchy, absolute monarchy.
Elected monarchy.
So we had an absolute monarchy. So you elected you elected the heir.
Alright, so it wasn't just like, who wants to be king?
So it was like
it's like Theresa May becoming queen.
So it's like, you know how Harold Godwinson became king because people chose him to become king.
Right.
Because Edward had no heir. It's like that. So all the compatible people, you picked one, and Harold Godwinson was really, well, was he Earl of somewhere? I don't know where. Can't remember. Earl of Wessex, I think. So he was probably very powerful. He was a very powerful earl, and I went, oh, actually, I think he was slightly related to him. And then we had an absolute monarchy until 1215, when John, I think it was John who messed it up. And then we had a unitary.
What a shame! We lost an absolute monarchy.
He messed it up for himself.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we had a unitary monarchy, unitary parliament from 1215 to 1649. Then we had a commonwealth from 1649 to 1660. And I just realised I'm listing off a load of dates.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you are.
So apparently our first monarch was Athelstan. So, cool. What date should we be now in? If England was created in
I forgot this is what we were doing.
927.
Maths.
I'm figuring this out all by myself and not using a calculator. 927. So currently the year is 1091. Okay. If we go from when England was meant to be formed.
I think 10,000.
1091?
Yeah.
We're about to go into a new century now.
Great.
So we can see if we can get this podcast to at least last until.
No, we're not. Not a new century. Yeah.
We've got
Sorry, I'm thinking millennia.
If we can get this podcast to last 9 years, we'll have lasted an entire millennia.
We've crossed millennia.
Yeah.
Then.
Do you not wish you were born in 1999?
No.
Because then you could have, if you live 102 years, you could die having seen 3 centuries. 1900s, 2000s, 2100s.
Well, my sister was born. Well, I forgot 1999.
So that means you could, if you lived long enough.
She lived long enough, she could have seen 3 centuries. That's cool.
That's what I kind of. My parents said wish they had me there, but I was born in 2001, which gives everyone an idea how old we are.
How old you are?
Yeah, your age will remain mysterious.
Mysterious. I'm actually 46. You just don't know it.
Have we already said your name? Because if not, we just call you the T-Man.
No, I've already said my name.
We can cut that out. We'll bleep it.
You'll bleep it.
That bleep earlier in the podcast. That was his name.
That's my name.
That's his name. It's not even got. You can't say it. It's like Prince.
Mm-hmm.
He's the artist formerly known as. We can't say what he formerly known as. No. He's the man formerly known as.
Aquafel.
That's his name. Aquafel. That's a reference to something no one will understand. No one could understand apart from Oliver. If you listen to this. If anyone from our D&D group listens to this,
they'll get that.
And that's probably the only people who listen to this. That's probably all who's listening to this.
Yeah, because it'll just go unnoticed.
So how's your day going? That one person.
Yeah.
Am I high out to D&D?
Yeah. It's because your girlfriend gets baptised.
That's
a good excuse. That is a good excuse.
Yeah.
You only can use that once though.
Unless you just dump her and then get a new one. So just the moment they get baptised, you go on Tinder and say looking for a girl who's about to be baptised.
Very precise.
Imagine that as some sort of dating app thing.
Yeah.
Looking for girls.
Teens about to get baptised looking for love.
Don't care where you are, just as long as you're my girlfriend, and I can kind of make an excuse out of it. If you're going to be baptised.
I'm really into going to baptisms.
That's my thing.
I just turn up to random people's baptisms. No.
Isn't that a priest? You're always there for that, aren't you? Is that maybe that's what Joey want to do instead of becoming a Politician.
Yeah, to become a priest. No issues there. Moving on.
We can bleep out all of this.
Yeah.
The last 30 minutes, we bleep it all out.
We've only been going 29.
Yeah. Give it a second. Let's just wait in silence. Actually, we've cut things out, haven't we?
This is
probably have things cut out.
That was the longest 4 seconds of my life.
I mean, 4 seconds is a lot.
It is a long time.
Because imagine if someone stops you in public and it's 4 seconds of just... It's a really awkward wait. We didn't even hit it then, before it got awkward.
Before we were let's not do this anymore.
Okay, so name for a podcast.
The Gunpowder Plot.
Is that what we're going to name? We're going to name our podcast after an attempt to blow up Parliament.
Probably not the best thing
You
for
don't
me.
want to become a politician, so isn't that...
Probably not the best.
Definitely not treason.
No, definitely
The
not.
High Treason Podcast.
The High Treason Podcast.
It is treason then. I mean, I feel like every time we talk about a topic, we just exclude a large portion of people who aren't interested in these sorts of things.
Bigger
History, politics, you've probably lost interest.
Like Doctor Who, you're good.
Yeah? Doctor
Yeah.
Who.
Yeah, without
Is that what you're going to talk about for the review bit?
I don't know. Sure. Yeah.
But so this podcast, for a formal
This
introduction...
person, who's ever watched this, has got 31 minutes in. They're pretty set.
I think you need a medal at this point. I
Yeah.
mean,
Well done.
we've probably...
I'm the only one who's going to listen. Would I even listen 31 minutes in? I'm not listening to bits.
by the artist who was formerly known as...
Acrophone.
He's just stopped watching.
Oh.
Well, you've just stopped watching, but you at home...
By
just
me.
again.
That's pretty meta.
It matter, yeah.
Yeah. Meta ethics is really confusing.
I've not done that yet.
Yeah, it's absolutely rubbish. No, it's not rubbish. It's just makes my brain hurt.
Just hard.
Yeah. It's like what is good, what is bad.
I can't. Let's just...
Yeah, cool.
We're already alienating. That'll be bleeped. Just for my own embarrassment.
Leave it in.
We're
I
alienating.
am talking to
Large-
you for who this.
Yeah, you are. And I'll be laughing
Sam.
at this in
Sam,
when later on today.
Sam, leave it in.
Okay, he'll probably leave it in. I don't know.
Really?
It depends on how he's... I don't know. I don't know him yet. I've not become him.
It's like eating your hand. All the cells of your hands have died and been reborn. Is it still your hand?
Yeah. Probably.
No.
Unless I've got a donor card in case that means it's somebody else.
You can't give your hand away.
I mean, you never know.
You might do in the future.
Yeah.
Oh, this is someone else's hand.
I think people have actually done that. That's probably one of those really random news articles where one person's done it and then suddenly everyone thinks it's
Possible.
possibility.
Yeah, or someone makes it up.
Name for a podcast. We don't actually have a name for the podcast.
Untitled podcast. Really cliche.
I mean, I feel like that's got to
Oh my
be
god, I
taken.
can't even see out your window. Like a second ago I looked out and you put blackout curtains on.
Yeah, I paid a man to come round and put black curtains from the outside.
Just so the Germans can't see us this time. He's come back from round 3. You've got to get rid of that.
That's staying in. It's gold.
It's gold.
Mention the war.
It's like the gold in Switzerland.
Unnamed podcast. There's an unnamed reverse engineering podcast. Unnamed podcast. I feel like it's always taken, Thomas.
Is it taken?
Yeah.
You just said my
There's
name,
the-
so it's great.
There's the...
Yeah, I'm
I can bleep
Thomas.
that out. Yeah, his name's Thomas.
Yeah, woohoo, we've revealed my true identity.
I don't know why that was such built up.
Yeah, because it's a good name.
Yeah, it's Hebrew, isn't it?
Hebrew.
Yeah, our names are religious, aren't they? Mine means word of God, which is why the podcast is gold.
I don't know. I've not really researched my name.
I think I have.
It's kind of just
This isn't creepy.
I was named after my mum's uncle, I think.
There's the unnamed podcast.
Ooh.
I feel like Untitled
Like
podcast.
the Bamboo Tree podcast, so like that. I don't
Bamboo
know.
tree. I don't like bamboo. I don't like bamboo.
I've never eaten it.
I don't have eaten either, but there's the Untitled podcast is taken as well. Shall we go for Gunpowder Podcast?
The Gunpowder Podcast. The Gunpowder Podcast. I don't know.
The really original, just mix our initials together because that's original.
Like Asda.
Asda.
Asda's the initials of its owners, I think. ASDA.
Fair enough. We can go for I don't know what's an English thing, a very English thing. The Forks Podcast.
Oh no.
The Forks Cast.
I thought we did folk, like some Falkland. I was like, oh, you can't do that.
No, I was talking about Guy Fawkes.
Oh, of course you were.
The traitor.
The
So
traitor.
that's very British.
No.
Potpourri?
Mm.
Or potpourri?
Majesty.
I don't know which one I've just said. One's a religious head of one's about the religious head of Catholicism. And one's stuff you have in the bathroom.
Either one, not very English.
No.
This is awkward. No, I don't know.
Well, we all cut out. Actually,
we'll cut out, so...
you can say what you like.
I don't trust you.
You don't trust me.
To not go in and leave the bit where I say Brexit means Brexit in there.
I mean, it does. It does. It does. It does mean
It's like
Brexit.
red means red.
I mean, it
Doesn't.
I mean, I'd be
red.
surprised if someone said, "Well, actually, Brexit doesn't mean Brexit."
I think.
But I feel like we've already. That's another bit of our audience gone. If you ever have any, because we just mentioned Brexit, so they just switched off.
Don't worry, I'm not from Europe.
Immigration. I mentioned that now, so you can. That's another group of people who've gone. What else? How else we get rid of all of our audience? My Little Pony.
That's all of them gone.
That's all of them. Well, there's that one guy left. He's still.
You say that we got one guy left. We've been the one to begin with. It's just us.
It's me. I'm that one guy. I don't even like I'm Out a Pony.
Do you not?
No.
I bet you do. You've got a secret stash somewhere in your room.
I mean, you're in my room. Where else the secret stash can be hidden?
I don't know.
Let's just think. Can you describe my room? It's brown, isn't it? It's just brown with books.
Yeah, it's more like an office.
Yeah, it is close to our office. My bed is literally folded up in the corner.
Yeah, and he's got books, and he's got a walking cupboard. I find really cool. It's got some,
Shut the fucking cupboard.
it's good walking. It's also got loads of hats in it, which I find quite amusing to wear at times.
Yeah, I don't actually wear them in public. They're all.
I remember when
There's a British Army Empire one
nearly
in there.
you racist. But you need to cut all that out. That's so bad. I can't say any of that. Sam, you need to get rid of that.
Okay.
Cheers. I bet you leave all this in. It's just like,
Right, okay. Well, that's.
drag it all to YouTube and like, there you go.
I'm not even gonna name it. It's just gonna be called like Project One. .mp3.
Oh, Will.
That's what we should call it. The Project One MP3 podcast.
Yeah, imagine if we just haven't been like recording this entire time.
I think that's a rambling section done. Review section. Anything you've watched in the last lifetime
No. Oh, wow.
that's interesting enough that you think that's interesting you want to tell people about? Or kind of recently. It's very recently.
I've watched Broadchurch. I know it's really old, but I haven't watched it. Some good David Tennant acting in it.
Do you?
Yeah.
And we're Doctor Who fans, so
Yeah.
if you're a Doctor Who
The
fan,
reason I watched it, to be honest. Yeah, it was good. Good twist at the end. It kind of. I didn't like some of the sad scenes. They were quite sad.
I mean, it's a successful show then.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Yeah. Chris Chibnall did a good job writing it. Now he's writing Doctor Who at the current time with Jodie Whittaker, who's also in Broadchurch. Very broad. Doctor Who's like Broadchurch now.
Yeah.
I don't think it's actually true. There's nowhere like
Well,
Broadchurch.
it's just like Tim Burton and Johnny, what's his name? Johnny Sparrow, Captain Jack Sparrow, the actor who played him. They're quite in a lot. Tim Burton did a lot of films of him.
Oh, you mean what's his name?
Jack.
No, it's not Jack
Johnny
Sparrow. Johnny Depp. That's it. He was in Charlie and Chocolate Factory.
Yeah,
I think it was
and
Tim
that's the
Burton.
Tim Burton one.
Yeah.
There's the is it Sleepy Hollow?
You have to whisper, but
Sleepy Hollow? No, I was just.
I don't know. I'm not.
There's lots of stuff.
I'm not
with
big
it,
into movies, but yeah.
But so, what do you think? Anything interesting? Anything other about Broadchurch or anything else you've watched as well?
Friday Night Dinner, which is it's funny, very good comedy. Good because they've got 20-minute episodes, so you can like watch them like before you go to bed. So you'd have to like commit like an hour.
What's the premise of it? Because I've not actually watched that.
It's about a Jewish family. It's a comedy. It's got the Simon Bird from The In-Betweeners in, and every Friday night they go to have Friday night dinner.
Right.
But something always happens, and there's always some comedy. It's the brothers attacking each other. The next one, maybe Jim, who's a little bit weird and obsessed with the mum of the family, and is afraid of his own dog. It's just very funny. It's just a bit weird, but yeah, it's quite good. Have you even watched anything, Sam?
I've been avidly watching Inside Number 9. It's a show. It's like a short story show. Every single, it's like Black Mirror, pretty much.
Oh yeah.
You might have actually watched stuff because I realised I'd watched stuff, but didn't realise I'd seen it. It's by Reese.
Is it old?
Shearsmith, kind of.
Okay.
Reese Shearsmith and can't remember his name now. Something Pemberton. Reese Shearsmith and Steve Pemberton. So don't know if you recognise them. Those two. I think he's the guy. He's in Harry Potter.
I've not seen Harry Potter.
Okay, fair enough. It's like I might have got this completely wrong. It's probably not him.
Anyway,
but it's a short story. It's like a short story thing where it's like a lot of twists in it. So first episode is kind of there's like an episode somewhere where it's all set in a helpline.
Okay.
Thing. So it's like a suicide prevention helpline thing.
Okay.
And so the entire thing is set from the perspective of a camera in someone's booth where they're on the phone all the time. And basically the entire thing is just what is a shot of it's the same shot. You never see the camera never cuts to anything else. It's just those. It's like the main room and some other shots, and it's all around that kind of thing. It's always set inside one room.
Is that the
inside.
Peep Show? The scene's like, oh, that's a bad hit, or whatever that is.
Oh, that's the
Not the Peep Show.
That which
sorry,
Mitchell and Webb look.
Yes, that's.
And what is this is all set. The premise is it's all set inside a house or a room called Inside Number 9.
Okay.
So I don't know if there's a reference to Inside Them, like it's a reference to being in 10 Downing Street or something. Inside Number 9, I thought it was like a political thing, like the one door beside Number 10 Downing Street or something.
Maybe I don't know.
But the entire thing it's not really political. It's like it's all set inside one room or building. So there's one on a train that was inside compartment number 9, where everyone was sleeping in. In fact, the entire night people coming in and out of this like train coastal thing, and it's like there's a lot of.
Is it a comedy?
Some of it's comedy, some of it's horror, and it does it really well. Some episodes, I think there's one episode where I genuinely felt really upset by it, like not offended, but like emotionally moved because it was like, oh, actually, that's quite a.
It's like Black Mirror. Some of it's like, I was not expecting to.
Yeah, it's quite good. I quite approve of it. It's very well written. There's a game. One of the shows is called Sardines, where they basically play sardines, but it's like by those people who really don't like each other at a wedding, and so they all get crammed into this cupboard.
Yeah.
There's a load of things throughout the whole of the event where you find out that people don't like each other, and there's people who kind of hate each other, and at the very end, I mean, I'm spoiling one episode, but if you don't want to have it spoiled, just take your headphones out or something for a few seconds. But basically, they're all trying to figure out who each other are because they're all kind of separate party members.
Yeah.
Who are there for like a wedding, and they end up getting all crammed into this cupboard. Eventually, there's a guy called Stinky John who is about to get into them, but a lot of them move out into different places. So there's a few guys under the bed. There's one guy who hides in the bathroom, and Stinky John behind the cupboard curtains. And then there's the father comes in who's like he loves playing this game. This is his proper game. He's a very country kind of. Elderly kind of man who comes in, and we're all going to get in the cupboard together, and like 10 of them all in this cupboard, and it's really cramped. It's a large cupboard. It's quite it's big. It's about the same size as that. So imagine 10 people in that. That's the size of a walk-in wardrobe. So it's basically like you could fit 10 people in there but it's very cramped. And
a big lift.
The father basically gets everyone in there, apart from they forget about Ian, who's in the bathroom, because no one really likes him that much. And then eventually they go, well, hang on, who's looking for us? We're all in here now.
What sardines is
And they go, because apparently the father was the last person to find anyone, and he found them, so he went inside the thing. But they forgot that no one else is out there. They go, oh, actually, Ian's out there. Ian? I was going to pick him up at the station. He's not arrived yet. So who's that guy out there? And it's got to Ian just locking the cupboard. And he basically pulls out a load of lighter fluid, just pours it underneath the cupboard, and the episode ends with him flicking open the lighter, leaning on the cupboard. And you're like, okay, that's the end of the episode.
That was quite drastic.
But it's like you find out that a lot of people hate each other, and there's lots of little things underneath it. But there's
more that meets the eye.
Yeah, there's some of them are which are completely comedy, where there's entire scenes where there's done an entire episode where no one says a single word, and it's all by expressions and hearing people from the other side of the glass like murmur, like the typical thing you can't hear. Like people you hear people from underwater almost. It's kind of like that. You can't really hear anything. Yeah. And they have. I think they've definitely used restrictions to be creative, which is what I quite like.
Good.
So yeah, I think that's the end of that section.
Yeah.
That's pretty complete. So if anyone's interested in watching some interesting things, yours was
Friday Night Dinner.
And mine was Inside Number 9. Topic of interest? Anything you've been reading about, or
lots of things. I recently read about the annexation of Hawaii. I know it sounds completely random because I remember learning that Hawaii became a state in like the 60s, I believe, or sometime like that. However, they got brought into World War II by Japan bombing Pearl Harbor, which is in Hawaii. So I was like, so it wasn't a state, what was it? It was a territory because they annexed Hawaii and it was a kingdom beforehand. And they've I think they've apologised for doing so because it was kind of violent. But it was kind of interesting because I was kind of wondering why Hawaii brought them into a world war when it wasn't a state, but it was a territory like Guam or Puerto Rico. It was quite interesting how that got statehood.
Okay.
You can also read about states, like 50 states, but Washington DC isn't a state.
Yeah.
It's a territory of the US or province, whatever you call it. But it does send members to Senate, Congress, and votes for president.
Very complicated.
Yeah.
I've got my head in European history and politics. So anything that's like hasn't got a king involved, and lords and lieges and vassals and stuff, I kind of get a bit confused now. I really struggle with anything. I struggle with learning about Rome because of all the consuls and the Senate and stuff in there, which is pretty much what our modern political system is. It's just Rome, but just tweaked a bit.
And more democracy, I'm guessing?
Rome was actually pretty democratic. The
Really?
Republic of Rome, before it had an emperor, they had an entire republic where the consul used to have a dictator at some points. So if you went to war, you might go, right, we'll vote one man in the Senate, dictator, and he just makes all the military decisions and stuff. And I think that's fine anyway. And then you vote consuls in. So you have a consul, the Senate, which is basically all the patricians, who are all like the noble people. Then you have the tribunes, which are meant to be all the kind of plebeians. So the plebeians vote for a tribune or tribune, and then you have two consuls voted for the. So the two consuls have absolute veto, so they can kind of veto each other.
Okay, so balance of power.
Yeah, but you also have the tribune who can vote veto them as well. So basically, someone who is voted in power by the people, then the people who are voted by the patricians.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And it's pretty. It works pretty well until you get to Julius Caesar and Sulla.
And then it doesn't.
And Julius Caesar kind of comes along and goes, well, they have a thing called the triumvirate, where they basically have Julius Caesar, Pompey, and Crassus. They basically go, one's got the army, one's got the Senate, and I think one's got loads and loads of money. So basically, one can fund everything, one can kill anyone, and one can make all the laws, make it all legal. And then Julius Caesar's like the Senate leader, and he ends up leading armies into Gaul and stuff, and basically he marches. There's a whole thing about him marching across the Rubicon, which is like meant to be the edge of where you're not meant to. No one's meant to take troops back into the Rubicon, across the Rubicon, which is like the north of Italy, where it joins with Europe. That's like the border region where no king's allowed to take his army across, because otherwise you're invading. The only intention then is to march on Rome or put down a rebellion, and there was no rebellion at the time, so everyone was like, he's marching on Rome. There's a book I've got called Rubicon. I think it's on the panel over there. It's by Tom Holland. It's a pretty good read.
Recommendation of a book there.
Yeah. There's a book called The Greatest Knight, which is one of my favourite. It's about a knight called William Marshall who lived in 1200s. He lived through 5 kings of England. So he starts off with during the reign of King Stephen, when he fights Stephen against Matilda, Stephen and Matilda. He's taken hostage by Stephen because his father, John Marshall, doesn't like him and rebels against him a bit. And then he grows up in the courts, and he grows up becoming a knight in tournaments and stuff. And he ends up he's one of the people who has the signature on the Magna Carta.
Oh yeah.
He's the first Earl of Pembroke.
Someone recently had to steal that from Salisbury Cathedral.
What do you mean?
Magna Carta, someone's had to steal it.
Why had someone have to steal it?
There's a copy in Salisbury Cathedral, and someone took an axe to it, or a pickaxe, or whatever, to break the glass and steal it. Didn't work.
Oh, someone tried to steal the...
Yeah, Magna Carta.
Why would you try to steal the Magna Carta?
Because, I don't know. Maybe you wanted it, but you can't sell it, can you?
Not really, not
it's
easily.
Like the person who stole
legally.
It's like the person who stole the Mona Lisa. They kind of just stole it and were like, oh, I can't really sell this because I sell it and I'll reveal who.
You could sell it to some illegal black market or something, a criminal or something.
Yeah, I don't know. He kind of kept it on top of his wardrobe.
Yeah,
You just had them in.
you have to have really good black market contacts
Yeah.
for all these like terrorists and dictators and criminals and mafia members and stuff. Who would happily have Mona Lisa and their house or something, because no one's going to tell them no because they just paid them off or kill them. But you know how we talked about before when an absolute monarchy ended? That ended in 1215, which was when the Magna Carta was signed.
Mm-hmm.
So that was basically it. People kind of see the Magna Carta as like this massive step forward for rights of peasants, but it had literally nothing to do with that. It was just about barons being able to say, "No, you don't have absolute power anymore, king. We can do what we want now." So that was barons going, "No, you don't have it. You can't have absolute power now, John." And then I think John died later on, and then you get all the new kings. So he's an interesting character, William Marshall. It's a pretty interesting read. It teaches you about medieval world in a way that it's not really overbearing and just hits you on the head with all these terms like levy and demesne and retinue and all that. It's pretty nice, and it's pretty slow it's a nice slow learning curve about medieval world. So it's a quite interesting read. And then we're going to move on to our next section, which is hopefully going to work pretty well. Like a Dungeons and Dragons section.
Okay.
So if you're not familiar with Dungeons and Dragons, we both are. But so Dungeons and Dragons is basically like interactive storytelling. So the idea is one person will be the dungeon master or games master. They'll basically act as like a choose your own adventure story where I'm the book, but I'm making up things as I go along, and Thomas will be playing as the person reading the book or the main character. So I'll be describing scenarios to him. He'll be picking choices, and then we'll roll dice and have statistics for it all, for how things will work throughout the game. And I'm planning on editing this so that we won't have lots of dice rolling and stats and stuff. I'll be cutting all that stuff out, so it'll just be. I'll describe the scenario in the most artistic way I can, the most literary and audible way I can. And maybe if it's not good enough, I'll re-record it in the future and add that in post. I'll ask Thomas a question like what he wants to do. Thomas will say what it does. Usually there'll be lots of dice rolling and stuff in between, but I'll cut it out. I'll add music to it. I'll add sound effects to it, and make it pretty like an audiobook.
Yeah,
like it's a mix between a medieval Archers, except it's not on the BBC4.
No.
And there might be swearing. Actually, there's swearing in the Archers?
I don't know, I've never really listened to the
listened to
Archers.
it accidentally a few times.
I don't really accidentally listen to BBC 4. I was actually there for recording a BBC Radio 4 programme called Beyond Belief about Remembrance quite recently. I didn't ask a question, but I was in the audience.
So, basically the idea for this world is going to be a very, very simple storyline at the beginning, and we're going to build this up. So this time is probably just going to be talking about his character.
Okay.
So the idea of this world is basically going to be a kind of an early medieval thing. So chainmail is like the highest technology of armor. So there isn't any plate mail. So basically, there's very little cavalry. It's just swords, axes, a few maces.
Pretty basic.
Just a single round helmet. You don't have to see in the Bay tapestry and stuff.
Yeah.
Single conical helmet with maybe a horn in the middle. Maybe a bit of variance. Kind of Anglo-Saxony stuff. So no massive cathedrals, no massive castles. It'd just be like hill forts and crannogs and lovely little Celtic and Anglo-Saxon stuff. So the idea is it's going to be in a small kingdom, somewhere in kind of in a wilderness between kingdoms, really.
Yeah.
So the idea of this thing is you're kind of starting off as a hunter, bounty hunter, mercenary kind of character.
Okay.
And you're going to be just living your life out, hunting and gathering in the woods. You've not actually got any chainmail, but you've got some like a slightly rusty sword, a bit of a conical helmet, some kind of relatively nice clothes, but not more practical than
luxury,
but still quite colourful. And you're just going to be wandering down country, not country roads, actually wild roads. And you haven't really got much knowledge of the world. You've just got knowledge of small like homesteads and farmsteads and stuff. But so kind of, I don't know if you can kind of think of a character. You can be very basic at the start. We can kind of build you up. You could have maybe thinking of an origin story for how you are where you are.
Okay.
Preferably not thinking of anything grand like princes or kings. Kind of just small members of a small town. So character name.
How about Edgar?
Right. An epithet. So, like, a description like Edgar the Bold or Edgar the Intelligent or something.
The wise.
Edgar the Wise. Okay. So I'm guessing your character's going to be quite wise.
Yeah.
Any idea about how you've got to just be hunting and gathering as a kind of mercenary?
I was born into it. Like, you've got to do that to survive.
So you've grown up.
Yeah.
Your father was like this.
Yeah.
And say like maybe you didn't know your mother or something.
That sounds good. It's not no more.
So you didn't know your mother.
Didn't know my mother.
So I'm guessing your father died when you were relatively young, something like that.
6,
and you've kind of just fended for yourself then.
Yeah.
Miraculously.
And then someone took me in for a little bit, and then.
Any names to him?
So yeah, Wilfred brought me up.
Wilfred brought you up.
Yeah. So when I was younger, after my father died, Wilfred sort of brought me up and taught me everything I know.
Okay.
But then I learned to read a bit, and read more than the local people where I am now.
Yeah.
And that made them think I was wise.
Yeah, so just your ability to read is one of those key
Wise.
things. Yeah.
Things that make people thought was wise,
Yeah.
but really isn't that wise.
So D&D has like a lot of typical stats for a character. A lot of these are kind of replicating stuff like Fallout now, where you have your stats you pick. So
Yeah.
Strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. So which kind of generally picking between. I like to do this this is a very rough D&D. This is not sticking by any of the rules really. This is just mainly for storytelling than anything else.
Yeah.
So strength, on average, are you good at it, bad at it? Like are you weak or strong? Or
I'd say strongish.
Strongish, like not
like really strong, but
okay.
Not like really weak.
So on a scale of 1 to 5, probably about a 4 or 3.
3.
Dexterity, how agile or
2.
2. 1 being worst.
Yeah.
5 being best. Constitution, so how long can you run for? How long can you hold your breath?
4.
Intelligence.
4.
Wisdom.
5.
Because he is Edgar the Wise.
Yeah.
Charisma.
2.
2.
Wise, but not charismatic.
Okay, so, and then I'd say you have a long axe. You have a long axe and you have a dagger.
Okay, cool.
And you have a fresh rabbit pelt on you. And
nice.
I think this would be kind of a collective, a serial story pretty much. So we'll go through episode to episode, and we might even cover this up separately, and also make this a separate podcast you can listen to as well, alongside this one as well.
Okay.
This will still be on the end of it. You are in a forest in the middle of winter, far from civilization, in the wilds. You spend your days hunting and gathering. You have enough food on you for a day, berries, and salted meats, honey, all stuffed into your knapsack. The winter is brought cold, unlike most winters seen before. Your fur jacket keeps you warm though, made from a wolf you skinned and hunted a few winters back. You still know a place in winters which can keep you warm if the outside world does not treat you fairly. It is a hill fort several miles south, a few leagues away. You used to work for them, occasionally doing odd jobs in return for food, money, and shelter. Currently you find yourself walking through a valley, down near the stream that runs through the heart of the valley, pumping cold, winter, icy water. You're looking for a good place to fish, a good place to trap creatures that live in the water, maybe insects should it come to it. You find the body of a soldier, a man clad in chainmail, a helm covered his face, and a sword, gold and bronze, still in his hand, with dry blood. Death does not shock you. As a hunter, you're quite accustomed to it. Yet there's something about this body, something about the fact that it's a human, a man clad in so much armour, with so little on him, that he looks like he must have come straight out of the gates of this hill fort, do you remember? He's bloody, beaten and wounded. His throat has been slit, not by a blade, but by tooth and claw. There was a wound on his back. That was by steel. You find the body of a soldier. A man clad in chainmail, a helm covered his face, and a sword, gold and bronze, still in his hand, with dried blood.
I'd like to take the sword.
The sword is ornate, gold and bronze. He's got runes running all the way down the blade to the point. Yet you cannot read these runes. These runes are of a higher, nobler class, for those who are more likely to wield the blade than yourself.
Can I search him?
You find 10 silver coins, all marked with King Edward's head. He is your king.
Does a chainmail fit me?
The chainmail's a little oversized, but it's still fine to wear.
I'll take that. Keep going north.
You come across a man and a horse. The man seems to have fallen from his horse, while the horse has continued only to be struck down by something lying dead a few feet away from him.
Oh, not a good day for him.
The man is now covered in his own blood, staining his richly coloured fabrics.
Purple and stuff.
More reds and blues.
Yeah, we'll search him.
You search the man and pull a wax tablet from his pocket, and into it are marks of the runes you recognise. Runes of the common man. Well, at least as common as you are. The runes read, fleeing to Linford. Fort in the south has been taken.
I recognise what that means.
You recognise the fort in the south as being a reference to the fort you spent time at and worked at.
I think we should go there to see if Linford's that way, so I want to go there.
You continue walking north. As you do, dusk draws in. Once you're almost at the edge of the valley, you turn back and see, against the dusk sky, a thin plume of smoke up near the mountain edge of the valley. Do you continue on or investigate?
Let's investigate.
How would you like to make your way to the smoke? Stealthily or openly?
It's too stealth.
Unfortunately, you make quite a loud approach, stumbling over twigs and logs and crunching on leaves. Eventually, after a while, you feel something cold and sharp against your neck. Don't move, says a voice behind you. What are your intentions here?
Just checking out the smoke.
The blade releases pressure on your neck, allowing you to turn around slowly, seeing the face of a very tired and haggard man. He looks like he's been walking for days.
Hello, what's your name?
My name is Edred of Garin, he says through worn teeth. What brings you here? Says Edred.
Travelling north to Linford.
Have you any news of that?
Show him the tablet.
He takes the tablet from you. A quick glance and his face darkens. Are you one of the soldiers from the fort down south?
Yes.
You have a place round our fire. There's reports of Linford being taken by wild raiders from the north. Coming through the valley, have you seen any of the men who were meant to be sent as backup to us?
Yes, near a lake. And it looked kind of brutal. Then on the neck had been cut. One of the bandits had been like stabbed and a hole to its belly.
Come, sit round our fire. You're one of us. You join the campfire. There's talk of the northerners. Mythical talk, legendary talk of monstrous men clad in burnished iron, soot-black clothes. The talk joins joyous. As the night goes on, more men turn merry when they've had meat in their bellies for long, and soon you find yourself talking in a pleasant atmosphere with Edred. He soon asks you, any family? Any friends?
Maybe one day.
As night draws on, you begin to settle down. It's a comforting feeling not to be alone in the forest at night, to know you don't have to watch your own back, that other people had it for you. Eventually, you doze into a dreamless sleep, peaceful, but it was not to last. You hear a horn. It breaks your sleep. You see others gather their swords and shields and spears. They join up together, forming a sort of shield wall around the camp. You see Edred. He runs back towards the camp, blowing the horn like a warning. They're coming.
I draw my sword in joy.
As Edred joined your ranks, you're all formed up. 5 of you, as the 10s of them approach.
We're outnumbered. Run.
Edred is the first to run. Several of you take arrows. You don't. Neither does Edred. You follow him, running down the hillside. Before the ridge grasps at you, the ground drops beneath you. You slip and slide your way down to the bottom of the valley, where you see the same stream you walked past earlier today. Edred grabs you, giving you no choice but to follow him. He flees and hides down below a few rocks in the stream. The stream waters up to his waist.
He ducks under water, grabs you and pulls you down with him. You hear the footsteps of people running by on the very road you trod before.
So hopefully that went well.
Yeah.
We still haven't come up with a name for this.
However, we'll find one, or if we'll just find National Days of Villain name after that.
Maybe that's the thing.
Chicken Lady
Maybe
Day.
I'll come up with this in editing and think of a good name for the podcast. Maybe something we touched upon.
Maybe. Maybe.
But okay, so I hope that was enjoyable. Thank you for listening.
Yeah.
If you did, if anyone did listen to this.
Could be an hour and a half, but
Hour and a half. It's probably been cut down to at least an hour, hopefully.
yeah.
But so, thank you for listening. I've been Sam.
I've been Thomas.
See you next time.
Yeah.